Good morning. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Visit Lauderdale Global Leisure Sales Partner Update, also film permitting. This is actually our first uh, partner meeting in the new fiscal 2021. Gabe, are we going to see our screen now?
I'm doing one last final detail. I'm coming to.
Yes, but this is our first partner update for the new fiscal year 2021, which we are now through the first quarter of and well into quarter two. My name is Tracy Vaughn. I'm the Senior VP here for the Global Leisure Sales Team. And I'm joined by my team here, Caitlin Etchfers, Gabriel Martinez, and 11. And we also have a special guest, Candace Hartzell from the Visit Lauderdale team as well, who will be sharing some data with us in just a few minutes. So, presentation coming up, Gabe? Let me just share that our global leisure team, we are tasked with engaging and educating travel trade around the world. And as you may well know, we're kind of a bit on pause with our international side of business, but there we go. But we do this best by engaging with you, our partners, and educating you on what we are doing. And we want this to be more of a dialogue than monologue. So want to make sure you realize that we're all on the screen and you can see us. We can't see you, but we do know you're there. We won't be able to speak with you, or you won't be able to speak with us, I should say. But I do want to share some housekeeping notes that if you have questions at any point, any comments at all, please make sure that you send those. Gabe is actually running the slide presentation today for us. But you can send him a question through the chat box or the question box. You should be able to see that. So at any time during our presentation today, please reach out to him if you need to ask questions or have comments. And I also want to point out that we do have handouts. We are using GoToWebinar, and there are 2 handouts there, and we ask you to make sure that you download those now as well. So in the interest of time today, we are the only presenters today. We don't normally, we bring in some other folks, but some special speakers. We know it's a busy time of year for you, so we do want to try to keep this short, hoping to be done in about 45 minutes or less potentially. And then I also just want to share that, as you can see, the team is still working from home. I'm at the office, but I do want to share that they are coming into the office, as all the different teams at Visit Lauderdale are now. They're rotating in every other week. They come in for one day. So we are having some face-to-face times, which is great. So particularly for me here in the office. So to get things started, I just want to run through the agenda real quick. We are going to do some updates for you on data. For you data geeks out there like ourselves, this is information that we use to help us strategize and determine what we're going to be doing. We've also heard from our friends from the airport and the port. They've shared a couple of slides with us today that we'll be presenting on their behalf to keep you updated on what's happening at the airport and the port. Briefly give you an update from last week's meeting with the Marketing Communications Committee. The new logo, we'll be sharing that with you. Then we're going to have our team updates. So we're going to do a review of first quarter in January as well, and then a preview. So next slide, Gabe, if you will. Yes, so a review and a preview going forward. And we did meet with the team the last couple of weeks, face-to-face, to talk about what we need to be doing and what it looks like going through the rest of this fiscal year. And of course, as you all well know, kind of moving targets here, everything's pretty fluid, but we are going to go through our plan that we had through the rest of this fiscal year. So with that, I would now like to turn it over to Candace, who's going to give us some data information. She's our data specialist.
Absolutely. Good morning. A quick look at the hotel metrics of Greater Fort Lauderdale. On this slide, we're looking at a full 12 months from, I would say, the year that shall not be named, to quote Harry Potter, yet the dreadful calendar year of 2020. Thankfully, Greater Fort Lauderdale finished the year off on an upward trajectory, all things considered. Greater Fort Lauderdale went 30 weeks with occupancy above 50%, and we saw that tide start to turn in mid-October, a few weeks before the boat show came to town, and that really gave us the push we needed to end the year with a 50.5% occupancy. Year-end ADR was $117 and change. RevPAR was $66.41. Demand for the year was down 33%, and reported hotel revenue was down nearly 40%. The line graph on the bottom half of the screen is mapping the percent change when we're comparing 2020 to 2019. And you can see they all follow a very similar pattern throughout the year, but you can see the occupancy jump that I was just mentioning by looking at the incline of the light blue line, I should say, between November and December. New Year's week was our strongest week during the pandemic era, and the week of January 17th through the 23rd, just a mere 10 days ago, was our second best week during the pandemic. Hotel metrics are only available through January 23rd right now, but all 23 days of January have seen a daily occupancy rate of 51% or better. Never did I think we would be celebrating a 50% occupancy rate, but we'll take what we can get. We're currently on a 5-week streak of weekly ADR above $100, and the downtown Fort Lauderdale Beach submarket continues to drive ADR. In the most recent report, that submarket posted a $176 average daily rate, but that is down about 30% over the same week last year. And last week's countywide ADR was a little more than $119, and it continues to position Greater Fort Lauderdale as the more affordable option compared to our neighbors to the north and south. But all in all, good indicators that we're headed in the right direction. So what can we expect? A forward view of our hotel metrics and what the forecast is calling for. If you joined us in October, you saw a similar slide to this, 4 quarters of forecasting. The top black line of each quarter is the forecasted metric. The line under, unfortunately in red, is the year-over-year change. Obviously, the top row there, Q4, so October, November, December of last year, is now in the books. But how did we do compared to what we were forecasted to do? So occupancy was forecasted to be 48.9%, so close to 49%. We finished the quarter slightly ahead of the forecast at 51.6%, and that's shown here in the white bubble. ADR was forecasted to be just under 117, which we all thought was quite optimistic considering we had not broken $100 in weekly ADR in 30 plus weeks. But the late October boat show, the November and December holidays, and throw in some pent-up demand and great weather, our ADR checked in at $102.61 for the quarter, a little off mark, but not bad considering where we were headed at the beginning of that quarter. We were forecasted to see 10 properties open for an additional 1,000 rooms. No big surprise that many of those openings slipped into 2021. We did see 3 properties open, adding nearly 320 new rooms to the market. Staying with the pipeline for just a second, which is that final column there, 6 properties are scheduled to open in Q1 2021. We've already seen 2 open, adding 240 rooms to the market, and the additional 4 properties will add another just over 500 new rooms. Keeping in mind that the 16 or so projects you see listed here for Q1 through Q3 are all under construction, active construction. So they will at some point open, but we do anticipate that some will continue to slide their opening dates until we see a little more increase in demand. And I won't go through each of these forecast numbers, but note that the percentage change decreases as the year progresses, meaning we're getting closer to the 2019 levels that we want to achieve. Also keep in mind the year-over-year comparison here for 2021 is actually comparing to 2019 instead of 2020. We want to get back to 2019 levels, so comparing to 2020 is not overly helpful, and it kind of skews the numbers into giving a little false sense of where we are in our recovery. And next slide. So how are we doing with the recovery indicators that we're tracking? The dining app Open Table is tracking diner data. We're looking for diner volume and getting back to those 2019 levels. On this slide, Greater Fort Lauderdale is represented with the hot pink line. And while we saw a bit of a dip down this fall, December and January are showing good progress. And while this graph shows monthly totals, we did experience a handful of days where we surpassed the dining volume of the same day in 2019. That's definitely a sign we like to see. We are monitoring passenger traffic at FLL. We love our drive market visitors, but it's no secret. We need our air passengers to return. And I know Tracy's going to give you a quick airport update, so I don't want to steal her thunder, but I do want to mention an interesting tidbit. We do monitor the volume of people passing through FLL's TSA checkpoints. And granted, those are people that are leaving. Of course, we want to see people arriving, but it's still another indicator of volume of folks moving through the airport. And as you expect, TSA has projections or forecasts for how many folks they anticipate to pass through these checkpoints. And they make these forecasts based on tickets sold, and they make them a few days in advance. At least 11 times in January, so in January, the volume of people exceeded what they expected by 10 to 30%. And that's good news. That means folks are flying, people are moving around, and we want to see that flurry of activity. Additionally, FLL's pattern is following the national pattern for passenger ebb and flow, so another good indicator. Direct employment in leisure and hospitality for December was down about 25% as compared to December of last year. That's an improvement over what we were experiencing in late spring and early summer when employment was down 45 to 55%. So that's all a good sign. Our hotel partners continue to report pickup and group inquiries. They're seeing longer booking windows with our leisure travelers, although the last minute bookings are still higher than normal. And lastly, Destination Analyst, most recent traveler sentiment survey continues to have Florida ranked as the second most desirable domestic destination and the second most dreamed about destination. And last week we heard from our partners at JetBlue that Fort Lauderdale was the most searched destination on JetBlue's website for 10 days running. And that is very exciting news and certainly worth something to celebrate. So I'll leave you on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Candace. So yes, Steve Bellamy shared a couple of slides with us that I'd like to share with you today. This looking back for 2020, no surprise here. We can see the dip as the pandemic came in March and then slowly rebuilding back through December with being about 55% down for the year, so 16.5 million passengers. But just in our recovery mode, Gabe, for the next slide, we just want to show that, during this same basic period of 2020 calendar year, basically, you can see where we fall as far as large hub airport comparison. Overall, 15th, ranked 15th, but again, this is based on passengers, and internationally, number 10. But if you look to the right, the two columns to the right, you'll see from the recovery what this actually is saying. Relatively speaking, we are doing better than many of our airports passenger-wise, and this reflects the decline of number of passengers. And so all of those properties all those airports listed below Fort Lauderdale for the total recovery are actually have a higher percentage decrease in passenger count. Those in front of us obviously are doing slightly better, but as you can see on the international recovery, we're ranked number 2, so everything below us is actually doing worse on the percentage difference. But of course, with the latest requirement and order for a negative COVID test to come into the States from outside the US borders, we are kind of in a wait and see how that's going to affect us. We obviously know it's going to have a huge effect, but of course it affects us all the same. So kind of wanted to share that. So relatively speaking, a little bit good news, and it kind of goes in line with the information that Candace just shared with us related to the hotels. Now going forward, we want to share some lift update, and you can see we've got a lot of flights that are in fact coming in. pleased about that. We do have some new, this is just, I'll let you guys take a look at this. Again, just some flights coming in, and you can see numbers coming in for January and February. And then we also have some new flights that we want to share with you from different carriers and cities. So we've got, again, American, United coming into Boston. United has added some nonstop service that we hadn't had previously. They served these cities, but they were connecting. We've got Los Angeles from American and Delta, and New York for United and American, different hubs there. Pittsburgh, JetBlue, and then Alaska and JetBlue, both Portland and JetBlue Seattle. So we're excited about having some new service, and some of this service has actually already started. So we are taking all of this information and considering it as we look forward to what we are going to be doing from the travel trade side. So that's for the airport report. And then we want to take a quick look for the return of cruising. We do look forward to the day where we will see this many cruise ships in the port. But right now, I think everyone knows it's kind of a moving target. And we did hear from the port, and they shared some information with us last week. But again, we were hopeful that we would see some cruising starting in May, but I think that's just questionable now. We had been told some of those cruise ships would be in early May and mid-May. We do know that Valeria is coming in February 10th, so it's next week. So we're excited about that for the ferry service to the Bahamas. We appreciate Ellen Kennedy sharing some information with us, but they are continuing to do all the protocols. If you are out that way, you will see the ships out there, and we've seen them certainly doing the testing and so forth required of them. So they're trying to figure it out. We do appreciate that, and we know the port has done a great job staying connected with all the cruise lines and keeping everybody up to date. But just kind of a good news, feel good kind of share. We wanted to share this Captain Kate McHugh. We've been following her. We invite you to. She is the captain on the Celebrity Edge. She does some amazing social media, keeps us hopeful. So we encourage you to take a look and follow her as well. We just want to share a little bit of good news and feel good about what's happening with the cruise lines. And with that, I think we have a poll. Is that right, Gabe? We have a poll. It's time to vote. We want to keep you engaged. We want to know how important the cruise business is to you. So we're asking this question. We want to know, how much is the no sale order affecting your business currently? And you have options here. The direct impact of over 25% or more loss, direct impact of 10 to 25% loss, direct impact of 5 to 10% loss, and too difficult to measure and not my market. So I ask all of you, please, to let us know how this is affecting you currently. So Gabe, if you can let me know how that looks, and we've got enough people voting on this, help us understand the market better.
There we go.
All right, so it looks like it's still a direct impact of over 25% or more. So kind of in line maybe with what we're seeing in our hotel occupancy and so forth as well. So we appreciate all of you taking time to vote for that and help us out with that. And now we're moving on. And this was shared last week in the marketing and communications committee meeting, and I email went out. I hope all of you received this email sharing our new logo. It's been very, very well received. You know, and a lot of due diligence was done to get to this place, this beautiful logo, and our slogan that they're everyone under the sun. The actual presentation that was shared last week with the MAC committee is available. I hope all of you had the opportunity to review that. If by chance you have not, I believe Gabe or Caitlin is going to post that in the chat box so that you can take a look at that. But obviously this is so important to us. It's been a long time coming, and we of course will be building this into all of what we do on the travel trade side as well. And I know there's a brand rollout, there's a plan that's coming forward that'll be released soon, within the next 6 weeks or so, on exactly how this is going to go forward. All right. So let's move forward, Gabe, on next slide. So we want to give you kind of a little bit of a review of the past really 3-4 months. And again, for this first quarter of 2021, we want to talk about what we've been doing. We want you to be aware of what we've been doing, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how we're going to approach the remainder of this fiscal year. So kind of the big component of what we've been doing, and as I stated earlier, the being engaged in educating our travel advisors is our #1 task. And obviously with not being able to travel because we normally are doing this face-to-face, we figured out a way how we could do this and make it fun and keep our partners engaged as well. So we really have created this webinar series that virtual, it's the Stay, Play, and Dine. This is our theme on each of the ones that we have done. In the first quarter, well, since July, I should say, the last half of 2020, we actually did 9 different virtual episodes. And we have organically grown this. I will tell you what's the best part about all of this is that engaging partners that maybe we traditionally might not have, because as I stated, each one has the Stay, Play, and Dine in. So we typically have 2 hotels with us, 2 attractions, and 2 dining establishments that participate, or at least we share that information. And it is live and on location. And so we've gotten a lot of positive feedback from our advisors that are tuning in, and we have a lot that follow and have seen really all of them. But just on average, attendance is 46, and average registration is 103. The highest registration was the one that we did last week. It was Tasty Travel. I tell everybody our food clearly is the common ground in a universal experience. So we had a high attendance for that particular one. We were excited about that. But we feel like we have truly grown this organically. And our partners have been so good. I do encourage you to take a look at this. You can find all of these on our YouTube channels. You can go to sunny.org and it's /travel-trade. You can find them there. I encourage you to take a look at them. And kudos to our partners that have joined us for the 9 that we did through December, July through December. We had 55 different partners engaged with us. Clients was 786, and then additional views 710. So we typically are finding that those that engage with us when we're live and on location will get about the same number who have registered but didn't watch it live but watch it later. So we're really pleased with this series, and we've kept it going, and we'll continue to because we are not allowed to travel at this time, or we could travel, but we're not traveling at this time. So I've been really thrilled with this series. And again, thanks to all of you that have participated with us, our partners. We really, truly appreciate it. And then let me turn it over to Gabe briefly. Tell you a little bit about what we've been doing internationally.
Thank you, Tracy. So over the last quarter, probably no surprise to anybody, but the international side of the business continued at near 0. So what we've engaged with partners and the wholesalers virtually, digitally, but also our team has a lot of flexibility. So we had some additions to the team when Anna went on maternity leave with her beautiful baby. So I moved into a lot of the film permitting, which she will update here in a few minutes. And so on the international front, we did the Virtuosos Travel Week, which this year was not segmented by market, but it was for the whole region, for all of Latin America. And then because of the reputation and the name that our destination carries, we were invited to participate in a couple of Latin American global panels. Pan-regional panels discussing what we were doing in terms of managing, dealing with the effects of the pandemic, and what was our outlook to help the recovery for our industry and our region. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Gabe. And now I'm going to turn it over to Caitlin. She can give us a preview of what she's been doing.
Good morning. Yes, so Q4 of the calendar year really proved to be very busy on the domestic front, as it would have been in person. A lot of our events, converted well to virtual events. We had some fun with the Discover America virtual travel and adventure show, and we had a great opportunity to really do some fun interactive booths there. You can see some images there. Of course, the Global Travel Marketplace, Cruise World, they offered some wonderful platforms for one-on-one appointments as well. So we were really able to continue to stay engaged. I don't know if you're following us on Leisure Lauderdale at all, which we'll tell you at the end. But if you don't, you could have seen some of the fun snapshots behind the scenes. We did a great event at the Conrad for the Hilton Fort Lauderdale Beach for a closing event for GTM. So we've been able to kind of go outside of the box here and think differently and think of different ways to engage with our partners, some hotel happy hours with Oasis Travel Network and things like that. And next slide, Gabe, if you don't mind. Here's just some images here of some of those one-on-one appointments. We were able to connect with Focusrite as well. Like I said, Oasis, Virtuoso, Signature, really kind of checking the boxes for all of our major partners. And we are still seeing, a lot of engagement with the domestic advisors. We're still getting, we kind of got a little bit of a break in December and then a boom come up. And right now we're getting a lot of requests to hop on for meetings, for Zoom meetings, for chapters throughout the US, because we're seeing more interest again now that those international travel has kind of gotten a couple little bumps thrown their way. So stay tuned for more opportunities. Whenever we can bring on partners, we do. We do have that handout, as Tracy mentioned, and somebody mentioned that it wasn't downloading. So if it's not downloading, it might be too heavy. So we will ensure that we send it to you, because there's some great opportunities. A lot of them say TBD because we just don't know. And Tracy's going to talk about that. But we're really excited to continue engaging with our domestic travel advisors. I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Caitlin. And I just want to remind everyone that this team took over the film permitting process. We, just like most of you, we're having to wear different hats at different times now, just due to some budget cuts that we had here internally. But we were on a large learning curve to do this. But we do a lot of film permits in Broward County. In the 31 municipalities, all operate a little bit differently. But we are the pass-through for producers and location specialists to be able to get permits. So it's kind of a one-stop shop. So it's a service that we are providing, but actually the approvals actually go to the municipalities. But I do want to just turn it over to Anna. Joined our team when we took this over, and she has done a great job in helping this, work through this, and Gabe did as well. And I want to give them both big kudos for learning something new and helping us with this. So Anna, give us a little bit of a film update.
Good morning, everyone. Some of you may know me from sales and services. I'm now part of the Global Leisure sales team, as Tracy just mentioned, assisting with our busy permits. So our team has been busy coordinating permits for film, photography, other media, while utilizing public and private venues all throughout the county. We have a little snapshot of Q4. Broward County is a category just because of all of our parks. We do a lot of photo permits, especially over the holidays, in a wide variety of different county parks. So totaling, it was 250 permits for Q4, and the economic impact was almost 16 million. So even in a global pandemic, the film industry was alive, well, and growing in Broward County. We had a feature film in Florida's Hollywood in October called 3 Months. that should be coming out this year. And Dania Beach as well recently did a permit for the Bon Jovi music video on the Dania Pier. So a lot of exciting stuff happening in film. Thank you.
very much. Yeah, appreciate it. All right, so let's move forward and talk a little bit about our VIP card and how we're going to do this a little bit differently. So Caitlin, I think you're going to take the lead on this.
Yeah, thank you. So we need your help. We're going to be revamping our previously very popular VIP card, and we're looking to put together kind of a stay, play, and dine sheet and web page under the Global Travel Trade section of sunny.org as kind of a one-stop shop for travel advisors worldwide, really looking to come into Greater Fort Lauderdale to do kind of a fam on their own, or perhaps extend, their stay if they were here accompanying a group, to get on a cruise, or accompanying another group, or just extending something. So we really encourage you all to go on the back end on the extranet. We will be sending an email with more details, but in the meantime, something that you can do right now to get more exposure for your property is to go right now on the extranet and load in your travel industry rate. I have kind of just some snapshots of what this page looks like, a really quick glimpse here. You show your IATA card or credentials at check-in, and excuse me, and you'll get a discounted rate. Right now, we just have one property that is offering this. I'm pretty sure that most of you are offering something or are interested in offering something. So please go on the extranet and upload this coupon. If you need information about how to do it, you can't remember how to do it, reach out to myself or reach out to Rita. We can assist you in getting that up there. If you don't want to offer a specific rate, but maybe you want to just say, hey, I'm open to something, still put something on there. Okay, so this is step number one. This will be the travel industry rate. Step number two will be, attractions offering commissions, which we do have a whole list on there. But what we're looking for is developing this new program. So if you're going to offer some discounted admission into your park, into your attraction, into your museum, or complimentary admission to somebody that's selling travel, we would like you to give us that information. So we're going to send you an information to gather all of this. And we really think that right now we need to get this ramping and going. Okay, so we know that these travel advisors are not, they're in no way, shape, or form are they first responders, but they have been put through the ringer, as we all have been in this travel industry during the pandemic. But let's show them a little bit of love and let's really get them traveling again. And we all know that they sell what they see, right? They sell what they've experienced. We cannot offer a fam for every single travel advisor coming our way, but we still want them to experience a destination on their own, right? So look forward to an email coming from us very shortly that's going to outline some of the information, but it's really going to be pretty basic, okay? Just give us your information about what you're going to offer, and we're going to put that on our website. We know we drive a lot. We have a database of 40,000 travel advisors. We drive a lot of traffic to the Global Travel Trade site. We want to show off your business, and we want to get them through your doors. So step number one, definitely upload today if possible. Let's see how many we can get. Your coupon for, and it says it's a coupon just because that's how it's labeled in our extranet system. But just upload your travel trade industry rate on there because we know you're offering it, and why not have more free exposure, right? So any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I know you all know how to reach out to me because I keep on getting distracted with emails and texting. Why are you dressed like it's winter? Well, it was 59 degrees here this morning, and it's like the one day I get to wear my nice comfy turtleneck, so I'm taking advantage of it. I'm not selling to anybody right this moment. I'm selling to all of you here that are probably experiencing some of this chilly weather yourself. So you know how to get a hold of me.
Caitlin is probably wearing boots too, but you all can see it.
Thank you so much. That's it for me.
Thank you, Caitlin. And I just want to reiterate what she's saying, how important this is. We do get a lot of inquiries, from our agents, and we do want to be able to push them out to you and with your special rates and so forth. So it's extremely important, and we know they want to come here and see Fort Lauderdale, Greater Fort Lauderdale. So we encourage you to participate with us in that. It's really, really important to us, and because we have been known to have the VIP card, and so people that are repeating coming back, and we do want them to see all this new stuff that has opened up. So please work with us on that. So looking ahead, we want to talk a little bit about how we're moving forward. We are already in Q2 of fiscal year 2021. We took a look a couple of weeks ago. The team came in and we kind of walked through our programs that we had planned for last year in March of last year, or February, March of last year. And we've been very fortunate, as you can see, that we've been able to do a lot of what we had originally planned, because so many of these organizations have created these platforms for us to do these things virtually. And let's say there's some really good platforms out there. And I'm personally just really pleased with our Stay, Play, and Dine program that we created and have grown organically. And, you know, Caitlin and Gabe really have, I feel like they have their own show now. It's the Caitlin and Gabe show that been a little bit of a following, I'd say, on our Stay, Play, and Dine, because we use this go-to webinar, and our partners, again, I just can't say enough good things about our partners participating and doing that live and on location. And we have been so fortunate that the weather has been so good. The one that we did a week ago on Thursday with the Tasty Travels, it was just a gorgeous, beautiful day. And you know, for our partners to showcase that they're on location and you can see the ocean and you can see the sun shining, it really helps. And we do get a lot of comment back about that from our advisors and how much they enjoy that, seeing that. And so it makes them dream and want to come and send their clients here. So we are continuing that program, as I've already mentioned. Coming up next week on February 11th, we actually have Black-owned businesses that we are featuring, and we're excited about that one. And then on the 25th, we will be featuring what's new and on the horizon. And as I said, we've got so much new that's happened here. Candace shared some of the new hotels and so forth. So that's exciting as well. We are planning these through March and April. We are still working out some of our themes and dates for these, but we will continue these because we know we personally won't be traveling anytime soon before May, really. We are working directly with ASTA at the moment. They approached us about FAMs, and we have kind of brainstormed a bit about how we want to do this. We are very excited. We have this great idea, I think, to bring some people in, and certainly our safety, our health and clean safety protocols are first and foremost. You know, how do we operate these FAMs and bring people in? So that was our first consideration. So we've got this idea we're working on. We will be reaching out to you as partners to help us with this. ASTA has specifically asked us to do different types of themes, and we've got different types of itineraries that we will be offering, such as our LGBT+, girlfriend getaways and so forth. So stay tuned for that. We are getting back into the fan business. We're very excited about that. We are also working very closely with the travel and adventure shows, and they are working with AAA, the Travel Club Group, which is actually that group of states that include the South and a bunch of the Midwest. They are putting together a show that's going to be April 22nd and 23rd. We are just got details on this yesterday. And so right now we're planning to do that show, and we will be looking at how many partners we can bring in with us on that. It will, again, will be virtual. Great opportunity, we think, because AAA is actually working directly with the travel and adventure shows, which we have done these shows previously before the pandemic. They're really well organized, and they've done a good job of being able to create this virtual platform as well. So we're excited about this opportunity to partner with them and the AAA Travel Club Group, because we've been doing some stuff directly with them as well. And they are also the first shows that we think we're going to be attending in person will be the travel and adventure shows in Los Angeles and DC. Those are both in May. In this conversation we had with them yesterday, they, you know, obviously everything's kind of a moving target. We're excited about this idea of going into Los Angeles. I mentioned earlier, we've got some new flights coming in from Los Angeles. But again, everything's kind of TBD. And at this point, we don't know if, how many people we would be allowed to bring. They, of course, are following whatever the protocols and orders are in each of the states and rules about how they can actually put these shows on. So again, stay tuned for that and look into the handout that we have that shows what we're doing. We also have the Las Vegas Travel Agent Forum that's going to be in Las Vegas in June, and we're scheduled to be there. And again, same thing, I feel like a broken record here, but a lot of this is TBD, and we're still trying to figure out how many partners we might be able to take with us to these shows. We work with Signature Travel, and they have their regional conference, which will be here in June as well. And so we're excited about that. We've got several things that are coming up that will be local, so we're thrilled about that. So the Signature will also have FAMs built around it. We'll be looking for our partners to support that. And the ASTA South Florida Spring Affair is going to be happening in Deerfield Beach in June as well. And then we have GTM that's happening at the Diplomat in July. And of course, there'll be some FAMs around that, as we traditionally do. So fingers crossed that all of these go forward. And then Cruise 360 again here in destination. Again, we're excited about that. That as well will be in July. So July will be very busy, having people hosting people here, and some great opportunities for you as partners to join us with that. ASTA is having their global convention. It's scheduled for Chicago, and we will plan to be there as well. And we are planning our own mission. We haven't said much about doing some of our own bespoke missions, but we are looking to potentially head up to Orlando in August and looking at talking to some of our receptives, because we're hoping we're going to be getting back into that international business. And that's really the first step that we need to take. And we do stay very much in touch with these key receptive and inbound operators, particularly those that are local right here in Florida. And in September, we got the Delta Vacations University that's scheduled as well. And that's in Atlanta. And again, we'll be looking at taking partners with us. And then in September, IPW, it's put on by US Travel, is scheduled. They moved that back to September 18th through the 22nd. And again, this should kind of be our launch into, the recovery for our international business. They certainly are doing a very good job of, re-evaluating how this show is going to look. It's not going to look or feel the same. They do know it's going to be a bit of a hybrid, because there will probably be buyers that potentially can't get here. So there's going to be a virtual side of it as well as an in-person. Again, it's all very fluid. I feel very good about what they're doing. They have made an alliance with Connect Travel, which many of you may know. Connect Travel created several years back a leisure division, and they've created some new shows, and they have a Connect Tour, which is actually domestic oriented, and so combining IPW with that, it's going to maximize our time being, traveling to Las Vegas. And so we'll have this opportunity as well to potentially meet with some domestic operators, bus operators, and so forth. So they've done that. And again, they don't have details just yet on cost and exactly how many partners we might be able to bring and how that's going to look, but we know they're doing due diligence. We're excited about the opportunity to be back at IPW, and again, that first opportunity to get in front of some of our international buyers. So, and then the last thing we want to, well, not last, but also want to talk a little bit about our airline partnerships and airline marketing. Okay, if we can go to the next slide, yes. We are working closely with our marketing team here. We have a lot of good relationships with our airlines, and we have made a lot of outreach to support the idea of co-op campaigns with our key airlines and their wholesalers, which is really that component, that the hotel side of it. And so we've already had some conversations with JetBlue and JetBlue Vacations, American Airlines and American Airlines Vacations. Some of these we've never done before. United Airlines, and of course their wholesaler is Apple Vacations. Our hometown airline, Spirit, of course, we want to support them. They have a brand new loyalty program. And Southwest, and even Delta Vacations, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Delta. So we've started a lot of these conversations, and we're working closely with our marketing team here in Aqua to make sure that these new flights that are coming in, that we sell those seats and keep our occupancies up. So we're excited to be part of this effort as well. And with that, I am going to ask Caitlin to give us a kind of an update on her social media. She is our social media guru for our Leisure Lauderdale, and I want to make sure you all follow us and keep up with what we're doing on this.
Thanks. So yes, if you have not gotten this message yet, we do operate Leisure Lauderdale, which is obviously different than Visit Lauderdale, and this is really more as an industry page. So for the travel trade, all of our buyers, we encourage them to follow on here, and of course you as partners as well. It's important for you to kind of stay engaged with our team here because we are an extension of your sales force. So here on this page, we were going to have this massive plan, and then things got thrown at us, and we don't have the master plan yet, but we try to stay engaged, try to put some fun different information on there. We've grown exponentially here on Facebook and on Instagram, but we try to share tidbits of information, and of course behind the scenes of what we're doing and where we're going to be at next and things like that. It was really fun this weekend. We had the AAA Northeast show up. I would have been traveling up north. It was actually the last show that we traveled to in March of 2020, and it was just done for their 2021 show. They did it this past weekend, and it was virtual and it was fun, and I was able to do a little video of what we did, and we got reposted. You all know how social media works, but this is kind of our version of it. It's certainly not to take away from Visit Lauderdale. We encourage you to share, to follow both, but this is just more on this the trade side of it. So we get to see kind of what you're up to and give us more ideas on how to sell you as well. And then what's not listed on here, but many of you probably do know, we do have another private Facebook group, and that is for those travel advisors who have graduated from our Travel Agent Academy. And there I also try to share more tidbits of information, more insider information, stuff that maybe they don't see necessarily on our Visit Lauderdale page, a little bit more in-depth stuff. Whenever we go on site visits, I'll share 30 pictures. So if you welcome us, we're going to go this week on Thursday to do another visit. I'll be taking lots of pictures and doing what we can to just encourage more visitation and more exposure all around. So definitely follow us on Leisure Lauderdale, Facebook and Instagram. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. And I see we are at 9:47. I just want to reiterate what she said about the site visits. We are back in that mode where we are coming back out to meet with our partners. We do want to see you, want to see your updates and get to know you so that we can feature you on our social media, but also potentially with our Play, Stay, and Dine virtual webinars. So if you're interested in seeing us and showing off, we'd love to do that. So, and with that, Gabe, Q&A, we have any questions that have come in?
Yes, we've had a few. There was a question probably for Candace. Maybe I can see if I can go back here. There was a question, Candace, about what metric is the orange line that says Florida. Let me see if I can go back here. And I hope everybody's seeing the right slide.
Whoop.
Sorry.
There it is.
Yeah, no problem. Florida, that is Florida dining, as reported on the OpenTable app. So there's certain metro areas that OpenTable will follow, such as Miami, Miami Beach, of course, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, Naples.
And these are actual reservations or searches? What do they measure?
They're measuring volume of people. So
Okay.
It's the volume that's coming in. It's not necessarily a reservation. So restaurants will actually report back volume to OpenTable, as well as reservations that are coming through the OpenTable app, but they report back availability. So they're looking at the volume of availability, and we want to get back to that 100% would mean we're matching 2019. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. That helps.
Okay. Thank you, Candace. We did have perhaps a couple of questions about participating in the Stay, Play, and Dine virtual series. So, Caitlin, Tracy, do we want to say a couple of words about that?
You can take that if you want. So yes, we put that on the handout, and I think some of you have had some issues in downloading that. We'll
That's
make
right.
sure that we email it to you as well after this. But we have kind of allocated penciled in different partners throughout the county and different areas, and with the different themes that we that we have coming up. And we will reach out to you. But if you are certainly interested in participating and you haven't yet, please just send us, one of us an email, and we will see where we think you fit in best. We're always looking for new partners. As that handout shows, we've featured over 55 partners. So it's a lot of reaching out to you all, and we know that you're all busy. We had one partner that said he couldn't do it because I needed to let him know 6 months in advance. So sometimes people actually say no. I don't know why you would say no to us, but sometimes we get a no. So we're always looking for whoever would like to be engaged.
I never say no to Caitlin, so just so you all know.
I just want to say that one of the goals that we have is to make sure that we are spreading the love and featuring different municipalities. So that's one of our challenges too, is to make sure that we're not just talking about the beach communities, but we're talking about the west side and the north and so forth. So we'd certainly encourage you to reach out to us if you're interested. And it's been fun because, like I said, we've been able to kind of maybe feature some partners that that would never travel with us necessarily. So it is something that we're considering as we go forward. How do we continue to do that? If there's some ways for us to create some hybrid opportunities as well, virtual and live. So.
And apparently there's for some folks the handouts won't download. Reach out to us. And there was a question about our emails. Yes, they are posted on our website, but they're very simple. They're usually first initial and last name, except in my case is my full name, Gabriel Martinez, everybody at broward.org. So send us a note. We did have a quick note from Catherine Benjamin McLennan from the Hyatt Centric. She's saying that she's wearing a sweater too, so she's with you, Caitlin. I wonder about the boots. And then somebody missed it, but the list of events is one of the handouts. So if you're interested, and whether download the handout or if it doesn't download, just reach out to us. We'll send it via email. We'll get it to you. That's it.
Great. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us. We hope you have a great rest of the week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Candace.